remind you, integrity, dignity, and what? Can you see from there? Okay, never mind. I can give you the, what you call it, the slide. Integrity, dignity, and ethics. No plagiarism. Plagiarism is a big no. Undergrad, graduate, life, and everything. That's why I'm coming back to where when I asked you, if you steal from others, what do we call? If you steal from others, what do we call you?
And how you to defend what you're writing.
Thief, robber. If you steal other people's ideas and give credit to the sources, that is called, what do you call? What do you call? You quote. Sorry? You quote. Every single thing. If you're unsure, you take the whole line, you take a part, even your work. There's such thing as self-plagiarism. You know that? Self-plagiarism. Always quote. Everything and anything in your thesis, you quote. Because at the end of the day, you are who you are. If your thesis is full of plagiarism and your supervisor didn't have time to read all, it's your personality at the end of the day. And then you go out to work with your PhD full of plagiarized items. Do you feel good about it? You might feel good then because you wanted a shortcut. You wanted to have it done fast. But at the end of the day, it's your personality. But if you decide to be a thief, it's your life, your team. But it's not something noble to do. I've got many students, even PhD students, plagiarize. My student, I make sure, I will ask, where did you get this from? Is this your idea? Did this come from you or you got the idea from someone else? I got the idea from you. Code. I've got, during my class, students who plagiarize. You know what do I do before I go when I used to be the examiner? I will read everything about the topic. Everything, okay? And then I caught the student plagiarize and I give the evidences. And then when we are done, the supervisor came and asked me, Aswan, what software do you use to catch all this plagiarism? Oh, it's called My Brain. See, you have to label. Label not is label giving birth, but label the work. When you do your postgraduate, when you're studying, you have to label, you have to work hard. And then you must use your brain. God gives you your brain. Because I was born to love reading and talking. But even if you are not born with the gift of of thinking, you have to. So you have to read everything. I don't read everything in this world. But when I'm given a thesis, I will read. I will read whatever topic. So I've got many students in the Viva plagiarize. Dr. Azrina will talk more later. See, I like to put people in spot. Okay, so it's your personality. Okay, next please. Okay, research ethics, that you know, I'm not going into that. Dignity is here. If you want to have a dignified research, don't plagiarize. Must have justice, regulation, rules, honesty, and all. Okay, that Dr. Rivani will deal with you. Right? Okay. Next, please. Okay? Do what is right, not what is easy. In life, do what is right. Two wrongs cannot make one right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. The fundamental is wrong. It's wrong. You cannot justify something wrong. Okay, next please. Okay, my second bone of contention is language. How many of you are from Indonesia? None. The Malaysian, not necessarily they can speak good Bahasa Malaysia. How many of you from China? Okay. Language is an issue, right? No. Okay, good. But you must remember, we have different when we translate, I beg you not to Google Translate. You will come out with words that doesn't make sense. You have to read articles. Articles from journals that is about your research and more. Language is not a problem because how many Malaysian postgraduate do I have? No, I don't have many. I like to take international student because it's a challenge. I have mostly from Indonesia, one from Nigeria. And the Indonesian, although we speak of the similar language, but it's different. In academic writing, my first PhD, before that I was co-supervising, but my first one that graduated is also Indonesian from the same university. His big brother, used to be, in his thesis, he would use the word, nah, kini dunia Facebook. I say, what is this nah? Because when they speak, the Indonesians say nah, right? Or something like that. Like where Malaysian will have other things. So I say, this is not academic. Make sure it's academic writing. Language is an issue. Next, please. Whose job is to ensure an academic language? Whose job?
You.
Azman, whose job is it to make sure your thesis is in academic language? Whose job? Your job. You need an editor to edit. It's your job. It's not the supervisor's job. Next, please. Okay? Language matters most. Because if you don't understand, we don't understand your English or your Bahasa Malaysia, nothing makes sense. We'll lose out on the context and information. If you write, we don't expect you to write like Queen Mother's English. You are not a British born English speaking, but we expect you to write a good English thesis or BM thesis. We understand if you miss out a bit on the grammar, we can help out just that, but we don't write for you. Okay? Next, please. Okay, this is what perseverance is, how you humanize your thesis. You have to write, edit, 100 zillion times, proofread, write, edit, zillion times, again and again and again until the day you submit. This is what perseverance is about. Because it's so taxing, it's so tiring, right, Harry? And it's so boring. Because you get, the content is already demanding, so you go like, oh my God, I'm so not into this. But no, you have to persevere. You choose to do your PhD, Master's, undergraduate. So walk your talk. Next, please. Okay, 3 steps to improve your writing. Read daily, write daily, get feedback. Ask your friend to read or whoever, and of course, you will ask your supervisor to read or whoever. Okay, next, please. Because we're going to stop halfway. Okay, that's Dr. Isiaka from Nigeria. His English is like excellent. I only had to edit 2 or 3 words. The rest, I think Nigerians speak funny English, but they write brilliantly. I was so, he went through tragedy during his PhD. When we first came, they used to say, Yama, ma means man. So when we first came, I was like, what is he Yama-ing me? So I said, after a while, I said, oh, this is the culture. Isiaka, stop saying Yama. So life goes on. His son died while he was here. He had colon cancer, but he graduated. Okay, I must tell you this. After he graduated, he told me this story, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, I nearly killed him. He said because he went back to Nigeria. I guess he wants to be with family. It's cheaper to be there. When you are away, but he complied to the how many weeks you have to be here, month or whatever. He complied to that. So he always away. When he send work, when you cannot supervise when to me when it's not right in front of your face. You can go online, but it's not safe. After 4 years, 3 years, he was still very unsure what he was doing. After 3 years. So one day, he brought his work to my office. He was at the door knocking. I just stepped in, and then I said, Isiaka, good, you are here. I want to tell you, congratulations, finally you saw the light. This is what I've been asking you to do that you want to do. And he said, yeah, ma. Okay. After he graduated, he told me this. That day, he came to my door. You know what? He wanted to tell me, Dr. Azwan, I cannot go up to your level. I'm quitting. See, you don't know, we don't know as supervisor when is the melting moment. We don't know when you got so tired. And when I say excellent work, he was like, yeah. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. But it's not, it's not meant to be, okay? That was in the duration together with Dr. Rizky. Next, please. Okay, what's her name? I forgot. She's from St. She's from Australia.
Puspa.
Puspa. And then she did with your favorite Prof. Murad. And I was the co-supervisor.
My favorite.
Yeah. Brilliant, excellent English. And also thesis. So that day, it was on that day, Dr. Rizky, Dr. Isiaka, Dr. Puspa, and Dr. Noraini. She's from Graduate Business School because she did on journalist, so I was a supervisor. Okay, can I see the next one? I need, okay, stop here. Okay, stop. Okay, now we shall continue with Dr. Azrina. Yeah, stop my slide for now. Later we'll continue this. Okay. Tutupin ya. You are welcome to go and get drinks outside. Come. Dan rakan-rakan ada kopi, tea dan cookies.
Are there drinks? Are there refreshments?
Yeah.
It's there outside.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I present you Associate Professor Dr. Azrina Hussain, my internal examiner for my zillions PhD student.
Okay.
Mike.
Thank you so much, Dr. Azwan, my coffee buddy. Thank you so much, Dr. Azwan, my coffee buddy, and also partner in so many crimes. First of all, I would like to congratulate Sempris for holding this kind of session. I think what I find missing in today's academic culture is a venue or a platform for graduate students and academic staff alike to come together and speak and share not just their experiences but also part of their work. It is very difficult actually to speak after such an animated speaker. I am very muted in that sense. I don't tiba-tiba terjah orang and ask questions. I'm very muted. So that is how it is. So it's very difficult to speak after Dr. Azwan, but I will try my best. What I'm going to talk about today is probably much of the things that I will stress on probably build from and also related to some of the points that Dr. Azwan has very animatedly spoken about. I will be stressing on two things which are communication and coffee, because this is the topic of today, communication and coffee. Mainly because one of my favorite memories of doing my PhD, I did my PhD in Japan, in Tokyo University, Japan. One of my favorite memories of doing my PhD was when our supervisors or because in Japan the system is a bit different. It is a lab-based system. So I was in a part of a lab, laboratory. And one of my favorite memories is when the professors have left. They always leave at 7:38. You know, they like to stay back. And a few of us, my peers, my colleagues, we would make coffee and we would sit like something like this, and we will start talking about our work, and we will cry together and we will laugh together, and that is something I very much cherish. And I will, for example, if tomorrow I have a meeting with my supervisor, my Japanese friend, very dear friend of mine, she will read the things that I have prepared for my meeting and she will comment on that. And likewise for her, although I don't quite understand what she was doing something on Adam Smith and what is it, civil society, is it called? Not civil society, what do you call that? Shimin Shakai. I know it's the Japanese Shimin Shakai. Civil society kan?
How do you write it in Chinese?
Shi Banda and Min is the orang. Shimin Shakai. Anyway.
Division of work, right? Adam Smith?
Yeah, but he was also
Economics.
But there's another part of Smith that focused on civic society, I think. Civil society, civil. Anyway, I don't quite understand her work, but because she was reading text in English, and it got me to understand a bit more than I had a bit of more knowledge about Adam Smith. Likewise, I listened to my juniors who worked on Karl Mannheim, so I learned a bit about Mannheim. So I graduated my PhD not just knowing my work, but also knowing a bit more about who Karl Mannheim is, who Adam Smith is, and about my colleagues' work. So that is my favorite memory, because we would stay up until around 10, around 11, and we would just talk. And which is what I want to focus on, and I think Dr. Azwan also has spoken about language, the importance of language. What we don't do now, I think, is to communicate our work. It doesn't have to be in a very scary, formal manner, but in a very friendly, safe, I would say safe environment where people can give feedback, and feedback is always good. But we are always very scared of feedback, and me too. But feedback is always good. So that is why I congratulate Sempris for having this session, and I hope it will continue. And I think among all of you, you can create your own something like a study group, and you can meet once a week or once a month, and each one of you start sharing part of what you have read, and communicate along whatever that you have read, and it will give added value to your academic journey, because I think we do not want to graduate with a singular mode. You only know what your research, but you do not know other things. So if you say that you graduate with a degree in sociology, for example, because I come from social sciences, in the sociology anthropology section, we have many students who graduated with a degree in sociology, but who has never read Karl Mannheim, who has never read Pierre Bourdieu and all those stuff. So you are not owning that degree of sociology because you do not know all these important figures, important debates in the particular field. So communication is very important. So I would like to encourage all of you, to start small, but start to communicate about your work, because when you communicate about your work, it becomes clearer to you. Because when we read, when we think we know, but when we speak, we actually realize that when you can't communicate what you know, then you don't know enough. So you have to work harder to convince others about your work. So that is my 2 points about communication and coffee. So let me just backtrack a bit about coffee. So coffee, I have coffee with me. Coffee has a symbolic meaning to it, right? And I think if you go through, if you follow all these PhD journeys and you go through, you Google about coffee and PhD, and I think coffee has taken a meaning that we associate coffee with this meaning of stressful, stress life in PhD. It is also associated with feeling of overburden about our work. But coffee is also a socializing mechanism. In my experience, we wouldn't have been able to sit down late at night and talk about our work and laugh and cry. And of course, sometimes we bitch about our supervisor, you know, that kind of thing. Without coffee, we won't be able to do that without coffee. So coffee, as much as it is a symbol of hard work, stressful, anxiety, and reducer, and all things like that, coffee is also a symbol of socializing. And I think Dr. Azwan had coffee prepared there. I think that is also part of wanting all of you to go out and come in so that it will give a more relaxed vibe to this session today. But unfortunately, everybody is sitting still in their seats and not going out and get coffee. So come on, let's relax a little bit. Okay, so that's so I will be approaching this topic from maybe probably more about the supervisor, not so much about supervisor, but more about examiner's standpoint. So my talk will be about approaching Viva Voce, and I will be focusing on communication and culture. Okay, next. Okay, so this is your all my pictures are from Google, so I have to acknowledge Google. This is your PhD journey. You start there and you assume or you want it to be a linear line and where you reach your final goal. But unfortunately, that is not how it is. Your journey will be filled with so many obstacles, and I think Dr. Azwan has shared some of the obstacles that her candidate faced during their journey. So you will have your ups and your downs and your lows and your highs, but you must persevere, to use Dr. Azwan's word, to reach the final line, which is your Viva Voce, which is what I want to talk about today. Okay, next. So of course, in your journey, you will be accompanied by hopefully you will be accompanied by a good group of friends, which I had the pleasure of the group that we worked together. We wanted to graduate together, and we still keep in touch until now. And you will be guided by your supervisor, and you will be accompanied by coffee. Right? Coffee and lots of coffee. How many of you are coffee drinkers? Alright, so do you see coffee as something something joyful, or is it something as I need coffee because I need to get off my stress level? I mean to bring down my stress level. Which one? Which one? Both, both. Okay. I guess for me, it's that as well. Coffee is both a socializing mechanism and also a stress inducer. And yeah, it is both. Okay, so you will be accompanied by lots of coffee, but once your supervisor said, okay, you are ready to submit your thesis, the next milestone for you, or the last milestone for you, is your Viva Voce, right? So at this point, you should congratulate yourselves, and rather than have coffee, maybe you should have ice cream instead, because I always associate ice cream with happiness, right? So when you reach this session, this stage, congratulate yourself and prepare yourself for your Viva Voce. And you must stay calm, and you must attend your Viva Voce confidently. So this is where your Viva Voce, this is where all the things that you did before, especially in terms of communicating your research with your friends, will come in handy, because your Viva Voce is an oral examination, which means you talk and you can't talk if you are not comfortable talking about your work. So that is why communicating about your work is very important. Don't wait until Viva Voce to share or to communicate about your work. Alright, so make it a habit of sharing your work. Okay, next please. So what is a Viva Voce? I didn't come from a tradition of Viva Voce. In Japan, we call it
Kamikaze.
no, it was pretty much a kamikaze thing. Because we felt like we are going to die after Viva Voce. We called it, I can't remember, but I think it follows the American system. We call it a defense.
Oral defense,
Oral
defense.
defense. Oral defense, okay.
Comprehensive exam.
No,
Okay, all right. Okay, so in Japan, it was, at least for my experience, it was a public open session. So it was a huge room, and you were there, and your supervisor was there. And I remember my supervisor walked just before it started. My supervisor took Japanese do things very subtly, so he walked behind me, and he didn't even stop, but he whispered, "Jishin note, ganbatte kudasai." Be confident and all the best to you. And I held on to that as I did my Viva. So a Viva Voce, I actually Googled the meaning. I never knew that, but it is a Latin phrase which means with living voice, meaning you have to speak up. So it is an oral examination, and it is an oral examination about what you have done, right? It is an oral examination of an expert. So you are the expert, you have almost finished your PhD journey, and you are almost 98% an expert. So that it is a time for you to shine in the Viva Voce session. So because it is an oral examination, focus on communicating your thesis as eloquently as possible. So you must communicate. You must be very confident to speak, to communicate, to convince your examiners what you have done and what you know. Right? So don't go in and serabut-serabut, I don't know, no, I don't, yeah, I think so. No, it's your work, you have to defend it. Alright? Okay, next please. Okay, so the purpose of Viva Voce, I'm sorry, my slide is very small. I think I have this delusional that I think my eyesight is still 2.0, which is actually not. Okay, so the purpose of a Viva Voce is to allow the examiners to meet the candidate. The examiners actually meet the candidate first through the thesis, the written thesis, but the Viva Voce allows the examiner to see the candidate in person. And you are not just a candidate at that point, so see yourself as an expert in whatever that you have done. So you must go in as presentable as possible. So don't wear t-shirt, wear something that is presentable. So be alert, maybe you need coffee to stay alert. Be organized in your thoughts and be engaging. Speak to your examiners confidently and engage with them. And it also allows the candidate or the expert here to communicate orally about her or his work. So you must communicate confidently. You must communicate about your work confidently. So the examiners do not know that much about your work. He or she knows the theory, he or she knows the literature, but he or she was not the one who did the research. So you are the expert. So you must be able to guide him in that journey that you have undertaken. Yeah. So it also allows the candidate or the expert to clarify any questions that the examiners have when examining your written thesis. So clearly explain your work. Now, as an examiner, okay, I have had my fair share of finding work that are of question marks. This is my what do you call that? The way I examine. And the first place I would read, you will not believe this. Your thesis is about 200 pages. There are about 300, 250 pages. You have your references and all that. When I receive a thesis, the first thing I would open, guess where? Where would I see first? Guess. Hmm? Introduction? Conclusion?
Reference.
Reference. Okay, yeah, I look at the reference. Okay, good. I will look at the reference, and if the reference is not done correctly, it's a bit a turn off for me already. Because students tend to think that references is minor. It's you can do it later, but it's a commitment to knowledge, because there is a way of doing referencing. You cannot do referencing any way you like. So that is important, because if you adhere to the way things are supposed to be done, then I know you are serious. Okay, so yes, references, I look at the way the references are formatted. Because remember, when I receive the thesis, I won't immediately sit down and read. Usually we read during weekend. Lecturers don't have weekends. So, but I will
Or
open
2 in the morning.
or 2 in the morning.
For me.
Not during office hours. We
Yeah.
rarely read during office hours. Next, when
Office
do
hours,
I
we drink
start?
coffee.
Where do you think I start?
Guess,
It's
communication
related to
student.
language. Where do you think I start?
The name of the supervisor.
The name of the supervisor. Okay, I already know, because usually the supervisor would contact me prior. Okay, I will read the acknowledgements. Nobody will read the acknowledgement, but I do. I would first read the acknowledgement, because the reason is that I would know your level of language.
Yes.
I would read your, because to me, the
Sebenarnya.
acknowledgement is where the candidate is most honest
Honest with language.
about. Yeah. So if your acknowledgement is done in certain way, then I know your level of English or bahasa is that much. So if the acknowledgement is riddled with many grammatical mistakes, and then when I read the inside, it's so perfect that I start having question marks. So I will always read the acknowledgement, because it gives me an idea of where the student's grasp of language is. I don't know about other examiners, but that's
I do,
what
I do.
I do.
To see my name is there or not.
Right, because acknowledgement is where you are most honest.
Oh,
Right?
betul lah.
Okay. So that's the purpose of the Viva. So you should view the Viva Bose session as a conversation between academics that include you. Because you will become an academic one day, and this is your rite of passage, rite of passage, your journey, your final journey towards becoming an academic. So it should be a conversation whereby the examiners will ask you questions, and you will elaborate on things that he or she is not certain about. Right? So you should view the Viva Bose session as the closure of your PhD journey. So this is the final one. So to get to that final one, you have to do all those things that Dr. Azwan has elaborated earlier on to get to the final one, and make sure your Viva Bose is the best possible Viva Bose as much as it can be. So don't submit a thesis that is not ready to be examined, because you, not just you, but your supervisor will also be embarrassed by the kind of work you submitted, and then it will be at the end of the Viva Bose, it will not be a conversation with a future academics expert, but it will be a, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? This one is not enough. Why didn't you do this? And it's not nice. Then it defeats the purpose of the meaning, the real meaning of a Viva Bose. Alright, so make sure when you submit your thesis, the thesis is ready to be examined, so that you can go in there and share your expertise in the research that you have done. Right? Okay, next please. I'm sorry, Dr. Azwan, there probably is a picture of someone you don't like, but this is the only Viva Bose that I have. So in the Viva Bose session, the people who will be there is your internal examiner, or for the masters, you will have for PhD, you will have 2 examiners, internal, and then you have an external examiner, your main supervisor, your co-supervisor, and then there will be a chairperson, independent from the thesis, and the dean or the representative will be there. Now, of course, we do things online now, but in the good old days, when things are not so much online, if you have the privilege of doing your Viva in IPS Viva room, I don't know whether you can enter the Viva room or not, but you will see the names of the Viva rooms. The names of the rooms are given in honor of influential academician scholars like siapa lupa dah
Ibnu Sina.
Ibnu Sina, all these things. Because this is
Kan,
it's very symbolic of the journey that you have been. Of course,
Klentong tak sama, Mak
of
Klentong.
course now we don't pay too much attention to symbolism. So when you enter the room in the Viva room in IPS, it will be lots of PhD thesis, and you have that sense that you have arrived at the summit of your journey. But I think now we have lost that. It's online, probably see the mess in the messiness of my room, my office, and all that. So. In the good old times, as I said, it is a celebration of the final journey that you have, and also to bring you up, uplift you to the second stage of your academic journey, right?
Is that my student, Nusantara?
Yes, everybody, you are there, right? I think Dr. Rivani is.
Mana dia?
No, Rivani, you are not there.
My student.
This is okay. Let me just explain.
Novel.
Novel was Dr. Novel was the one, the lower one in the middle is the external examiner. Next to him is my candidate. He's actually Dr. Datuk Sundra Mukti's candidate. I took over when Datuk Sundra retired. Next to him is the internal examiner. On the right side middle row is the chairperson. And then in the middle is the representative of the dean, and then your director. I think he serves as the internal examiner, and then on top left is the supervisor, the middle is the rep from the office, and then that's me. So this is the online thing. I wish I had a picture. I think Tazwan probably showed the picture of the quote unquote real Viva room. So it will, I personally feel that it should go back to that sense of,
Kenapa tak buat di
then
sana?
you see that you have achieved. Otherwise your journey will be just like this, you go in, you talk to your supervisor, you come out, you write, you present. There's no what's the word for it? There's no dignity. Also there's no, what's the word for it? Symbolism to your academic journey.
Yeah.
Until you receive your scroll at the end. But I think the Viva experience in a real Viva room is something that is very it's scary, yes, but it's once in a lifetime experience, right? Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so when examining a thesis, this is from my point of view. When I examine a written thesis, these are the things that I look for. First, I look for coherent ideas and arguments about your research throughout your 300 plus pages of your thesis. So the ideas must be coherent. Chapter 1, chapter 2, and whatever, all the chapters, there must be a line that weave all the chapters. And you must be able to situate your research in the discipline of your research. If you are studying, say for example, you study poverty, where do you want to situate your poverty? Are you situating it within sociology of poverty, or you're situating it within the economics understanding of poverty? So you cannot you cannot just see your research as just your research. You must be able to link it to a particular area or a discipline, right? And a mastery of important existing debates and knowledge regarding your research. So you must show me, especially in chapter 2, what is the debate that is ongoing and which you are in the topic, and where do you stand? Are you team A or are you team B, or you are team in the middle, which is not good, because you cannot take a stand. It's not good. So that is what we do when we receive the thesis. We read, I think Dr. Azwan said we read early in the morning and we spend time reading it. And it's not enjoyable reading a thesis. It's I have a thesis to read. That is the feeling. That is the feeling most of the time.
Oh no, I enjoy.
Thesis to read 300 pages and I keep counting. Six chapters. I always do that. It's not. I would rather spend my weekend doing something else, even just lying down and doing nothing. So that is why
Retire.
I want to retire. It's not. It's a very boring thing, reading a thesis, but you have to do it. The most, I only, in my lifetime, I think I enjoy reading a few theses. I think I enjoyed reading Kiko's thesis, Dr. Kiko's thesis. I really enjoyed. Poncho, I can't remember. I really enjoyed reading, and to me, a good thesis is when I can contribute further to make it much better. And another thesis that I really, really enjoyed reading was Puspa's thesis. I think that was by far a very excellent thesis. There's nothing. It is a thesis that a good thesis to me as an examiner is a thesis when I don't I don't ask questions like, why did you do this? Why? Kenapa? Why didn't you do it this way? But a good thesis is when I can ask questions that are engaging. Have you looked at it from this point of view? What do you think about if I were to do it this way? What would you think? An engaging kind of questions, and I don't get that very often. And I know that I can contribute to that thesis. I think that is a good thesis to me. But if a thesis that is, for example, the research design and the introduction do not match, you don't. To me, then the thesis is not ready to be examined. But if a thesis that can provoke the discussion or further elaboration, I think you have done a good job in writing and also defending your thesis. So during the Viva Voce, I've read whatever that you have written. So I would listen to your presentation during the Viva Voce. Usually we give about 20-15 minutes for the candidate to present their work. So usually students will go in and present, this is my research objective is A, B, C, D, research question A, B, C, D, literature said this, I'm doing this, this is that, we already know that. But during the Viva Voce, we want to see whether the student can clarify questions that I have when I examine the written thesis. But I rarely see the ability of students to tell a story about what they have done. So this is where communication about your thesis is very important. So your presentation is always very linear lah. It's but if you can tell me a story, the literature has shown it's like this, but my study is focusing on this area, and this is what I have found. So far, I have not met anyone who was able to tell a story about their research. And we are also looking for your ability to situate the research within a broader context of knowledge. Yeah, where is your study situated in? Is it in sociology or what? Right? If you are not certain, then it's problematic. So you must know. Even if I agree, for example, you say your answer is X, and I will say I disagree with you. I think your answer will be B. What do you do? Yeah, betul. I think you're right, Dr. Azrina. My answer, no, you cannot say that. You must defend your thesis. You cannot always agree with sometimes these are all trap questions, right? So you must be able to defend. Your answer should be, that is one way of looking at things, but my research focused on X, Y, and Z. That is why my study is situated in this field and not the one that you have mentioned. You cannot, yeah, I agree with you. Then you're not certain about your work, right? So this is very important. And also to convey practical and theoretical aspects of the research. Usually the practical part, students have no problems, because I think now doing PhD is very much empirical. You do a research, you get the findings. This is the findings. You are able to answer that. But the theoretical part is always quite problematic. So this is where your literature review has to be very robust, and you must know where your thesis belongs to. Okay, next please. Okay, so see, these are some of the questions during Viva Voce. I would probably ask questions like, what is the core arguments about your thesis? In other words, your thesis statement. Your thesis should not be a research report. I think now most theses have turned into a research project, a report of a research project. No, your thesis it must have an argument. So what is it that you want to argue in your thesis? So I would ask that, and then I will also look at whether the research question stated in chapter 1 answered. So I probably ask you, your research question A, have you answered that research question? Then you janganlah kelabap. No, you just answer. I may know the answer already. Yes, he has answered it. But I want you to tell me, yes, I answered research question 1 in chapter 3 where I elaborated this, and this. Alright? I already know the answer, but I want to know. I want to hear you communicate about your work. And maybe what is one of the biggest contribution, the strength of your study, what are the theoretical contributions of your study, why do you choose the research design you have chosen, and what is next for with this research, what are you taking to, where are you taking it to next. And finally, examiners like to ask this question, so what? So the so what question is very difficult. You have spent 3.5 years, 4 years doing whatever that you have done, writing these 300 odd pages. You have come to the summit of your journey. So what? So you must always bear this in mind. You have found that poverty in this area in China is still very low despite the poverty alleviation programs. I know that because my students doing that. Okay, you have shown that. So the question is, okay, so what? So how do you answer that so what question? Right, so always have this in mind when you prepare for your Viva. So what? What is the meaning? The so what is the meaning of your findings. The meaning of your finding, which I don't have the answer, you have the answer. So always have this so what question at the back of your mind when you prepare for your Viva Hosing. Okay, next. Okay, so these are some questions, that are some answers that you need to avoid. I've been to a Viva session whereby when you ask a question and then the candidate said, I will discuss this with my supervisor. No, you don't discuss that with your supervisor at the Viva session. No. So don't answer that. So or answer, I am not sure, I do not know, yes, no, very simple answer. No. You must elaborate, meaning you must communicate, right? So avoid, I am not sure, I do not know, these are all no, 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 no. Or paling senang, the easiest one, actually I don't want to do it this way, my supervisor asked me to do it this way. So you blame it on your supervisor, so your supervisor will be cringe like that. Alright, so no, it is your work, your supervisor is just there to guide and also cringe at your answers. Alright? And okay, so you have to be in a way defensive about your work, but to defend your work is not the same as being defensive. I think there's something mistake there. You don't have to take offense in question. You don't have to be. You have to defend, but you cannot be defensive. I think there's a typo there. You must communicate your work eloquently, confidently. Even if you do not know the answer, fake it till you make it. Right?
Yep.
Fake it until you make it. Alright? So the yes or no is a no-no. So always elaborate, but be succinct. Don't answer. You move here, you move there, and it takes 5 minutes. No, be succinct. Because your examiners have already read the thesis. Alright? So communicate well during the Viva session. So in conclusion, so in your acknowledgements, probably the next slide please. So maybe you want to thank coffee. I thank coffee in my PhD journey, coffee and more coffee. In conclusion, you must know your work inside out. You must know your work inside out. Must be well prepared, including reading your thesis before the Viva Voce. During your Viva Voce, I've seen students wanting to add on because he or she missed something in the thesis. So during the Viva Voce, I want to add on this literature. Do not do that. You only speak about what you have done in your thesis. So be well prepared, read your thesis before your Viva Voce, tag certain places that you think is important, bring the necessary items. I've seen students come into Viva not taking, not bringing a notebook, not bringing a pencil. So they would just sit there, and the supervisor was writing the
like
notes.
mad.
Huh? No, these are all. I mean, I'm a
Very
sociologist.
healthy relationship.
This is
Yeah.
what do you call that? Your backstage. If I see the candidate not taking notes, just like that, yes, no, my supervisor will take the notes for me. No, you take.
Or the secretary.
Or the secretary.
That's
So
not
you
backstage,
take.
that's front stage.
The front stage. Sorry, the front stage. Even if you are just scribbling something,
Yeah.
show that
Yeah. Effort.
to write down notes. Alright, so bring a pen, bring a notebook, and fake it until the chairman say we are done. Alright, so fake it. So bring the necessary items, a pen, a notebook, and practice your presentation and aim at telling a story about your work. So practice many times. Don't go overboard. If you are given 20 minutes, you won't know how many minutes you are given. Most of the time it's about 20 minutes. So prepare 20 minutes, don't go overboard, but you might come in and the chair would say no presentation. We just want to do Q&A. So you have to be prepared for that. Or the chairman would say 5 minutes presentation. 5 minutes, but you have prepared 20. So you must know which slides are important for you to make that 5-minute presentation. So prepare for both scenarios, right? And also, please aim at telling a story about your work, right? So be calm and confident. I know inside you are a wreck, a mess inside, but smile. Be calm, as I said, fake it until it's over, and be confident. Even if you don't feel confident, you must act confident, right? And as a preparation, I would encourage students to candidates to attend your peers' Viva Voce session, so that you get a feel of it. I think Viva Voce is open, right? You can go and attend, and so that you can see the kind of questions examiners would like to ask. And I think Puspa, the brilliant thing that she did, Puspa, Dr. Azwan student, and Dr. Devani, you're the
I was the examiner.
examiner as well. What I think brilliant thing that she did, once she knew that I was a supervisor, I was her examiner, she attended one of the session. I didn't know her, but there was a session in Sempris where you guys invited me to be can't remember what, but she flew in from KL because she wanted to know the kind of question I would ask, and I thought that was very brilliant of her. So she did her homework, right? So try to do your homework about your. I'm not sure whether they are supposed
You're not supposed to know. They're not supposed to know.
They're not supposed to know.
No. But she did the same thing with me too, yeah.
So you're not, whether how did she know?
Yeah, no, somebody leaked the information.
No, I think no, not me. I think she just take her chances, like
Take her
it's
chances,
assembly. So what the heck?
Oh, okay.
Okay, or something like that, right? So
I didn't know she come.
yeah, she came.
Oh,
she
good,
came,
Yeah.
she came. So
Excellent
do your
student
homework
of
about
mine.
your examiners.
An
If you're-
intelligence officer.
Then you get a feel about the kind of questions the examiners, because examiners usually we will ask almost the same questions because we are not that brilliant. We are not Oppenheimer.
Haven't watched yet.
So the next slide, please. My last 2 slides. So my last word is you should be the one who knows more than the panel of examiners. So you should be the one in control of the Viva session and not the other way around. So the panel won't write you unless you are ill prepared. So unfortunately, in many cases, the examiners control the Viva session because the work is not up to par. But if your work is very good, you should be the one leading the panel, asking questions, and it will be a very meaningful and very good session. So with that, my last slide is this one. Thank you, and enjoy your coffee. And coffee can be both good and bad. So I hope you will take coffee as something positive in your PhD journey, just as I had with my PhD journey. Coffee was my companion during the lonely time of doing my PhD. But coffee was also a point where I connected with my fellow colleagues, where we talked about our work. Right. So with that, I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azrina, for that insightful experience of yours. And yeah, If you don't drink coffee, there's Ahmad tea outside, equally good. If you don't drink tea, there's water. Drink. The point is, get attached to something that you can drink. Even if you want to gobble McDonald's, I'm fine with that. Okay, we've heard from the examiner, yes, she also caught student plagiarize and other things. I'm not going to say it's something common. I'm going to say don't do it. That's it. Just don't do it. No shortcut in getting your degree. It's all labor of love. Because at the end of the day, you want to have a dignified thesis. That's what I've been telling my student. Thesis yang bermakna dan thesis yang membuatkan you rasa I did it my way. Just like when you sing. I can buy my own flowers, talk to myself for hours. That's what I did when I was in my PhD. I talk to myself for hours. I can still talk to myself now. Okay, now let's hear from the, what's the word? From the horse's mouth. What he went through, how scared he was, how daunting it was. Oh, but we brought him to Papua New Guinea, not Papua New Guinea, Papua, Indonesia, for a research United Nations, for being very brave for choosing me as his supervisor. I present you Associate Professor Dr. Rizky Granada, known as Dr. Kiko. The floor, the mic, and everything is yours. Be the star that you are. You can stand, Kiko.
Okay.
You have to, you're a student now. That's what you can ask people around.
And shove the mic into their faces. What?
Ask questions to the Azwan. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Firstly, I would like to say thank you so much for Sampris, Dr. Ifani for the invitation. Also for the Assistant Professor Dr. Azwan Asmawati as my supervisor. Even though I already graduate, but for me, she's still my supervisor because sometimes we can share something and she gives many things of the suggestion and etc. And then thank you for my ex-minor, the assistant professor, Dr. Azrina, the killer supervisor, but you all lucky because she already give you some clue in the FIFA because I didn't get the clue when I was student. And then assistant professor Dr. Suhaida, also my guru. Terima kasih. Actually, I would like to share my experience when I'm student, PhD student. I remember I registered in 2015 and I submit 10 copies in 2018. So 3 years, 3 months, I can submit 10 copies. And then for month, I'm waiting for the schedule of FIFA. After FIFA, I got major correction. And then my convocation in 2019. So it's about 4 years my PhD journey until I got my score. I know your feeling as a student, how feeling when you miss your family, when you don't have money, when you have an accident, or your family have a problem in your country. I know that feeling. So in my perspective, I'm trying to collect all the emotional and become my motivation to finish my PhD soon. So some of the slide is my experience. Okay, next slide, Mas Hani. First, I come in US. I'm trying to write my timeline, and this timeline is a little bit missing, but still on the track because in my experience when I did my degree, my master and my PhD, Alhamdulillah, I'm the fastest student in my batch. The fastest student, not the best student.
Flash, flash.
Yes, fast. Yeah, I hope it can be insight for all of you. In first semester, is fully reading. I'm staying here with my wife after I married. One semester I'm fully reading. I'm writing the annotated bibliography, and then I'm trying to separate some of journal because 1,000 of title my supervisor is reject. Yeah, 1,000 of title my proposal she reject my topic. Also, when I register in USM, the title is also rejected by my supervisor. What is the significance? What is the contribution for academic, for practical, for your country, and etc. And then I decide I'm doing the research in the border of Indonesia and Malaysia in Pulau Sebatik, Kalimantan Utara. Again, first semester I fully reading until semester 2, and Alhamdulillah at the end of this semester I can defend proposal, even though my one panelist is give defend proposal, but when I explain in the presentation, the panelist is agree with my idea, agree with my proposal, and with revise some of the material in methodology, theory, and etc. But I passed for the defense proposal because at that time the issue is some of the student is failed in defense proposal. There are 3 or 4 students, if I'm not mistaken, the student is failed in the proposal defense. But Alhamdulillah, I can pass for the proposal defense. And then in semester 3, for my batch, don't have requirement for submit journal. But I got many experience because my supervisor is head of the committee, the conference. So I present 3 times when I am doing PhD for my thesis in the CMC in Penang, in Muhammadiyah Jogja, and last one I forgot. But it can give many insight when we present the thesis. Some people from other country give you some feedback, give you comment, and
ACMC,
ACMC, yeah, in ACMC, yeah.
Asian Congress for Media Communication.
Yes, in ACMC 3 times. And then I collect the data. When I collect the data is my son, my first son is was 1 year old, and then my wife is pregnant, and I have to decide that I have to take the data because if my second baby was born will what we call it, it will be a big problem. So because I stay 1 month in borderline, I stay in village to take my data. I'm using ethnography, so I'm staying in the village for the 1 month. And then in semester 4, collect the data, and then semester 5 is I analyze the data and also writing. Dr. Azwan already say about the writing, and then edit. Yes, because the language is the main problem when I did my PhD. And then in semester 6 is proofread. After proofread, you still have to edit your language. How the meaning, how the message of the proofreader majority is not really in our expectations. So you still edit the language from chapter 1 to chapter 6, chapter 7. My thesis is until chapter 7. And then alhamdulillah, at the end of the semester 6, I can submit my 10 copies. Okay, next slide. Yeah, I'm trying to write my timeline in 2015. And alhamdulillah, it's still on the track because I try to force myself to still on the track in the PhD. Next. This is one of my strategy. One of my strategy when I discuss with my supervisor. Because if we bring our thesis is very many pages, so it will help you to explain how to contextualize the thesis from the problems, from the justification, from the contribution, and also the research problems and also the objective. It will help you. I really often make the graphics when I discuss with my supervisor. This is what I mean. This is what I want to do. This is the problem. So I'm trying to make the graphic to make the supervisor can understand,
Visualize.
to visualize our thesis. Many graphics that I made in my discussion. Next slide. This is also the another graphic that I made in my discussion. How from the objective, how the three biggest objective, and then the theory, and then the methodology, and also the method, the prime data or the secondary data that you are using in your thesis. Because this is will help you to discuss, will help you to give the visualize to the supervisor. Okay, next. And then this is the support system, and this is very important in the PhD life. The first one is the family, how you have to settle your family first, because you need focus, you need concentrate. If your family is already settled, you can writing, you can read, you can analyze every time. Before you sleep, until you wake up in the morning, it's only thesis in your mind, in your head. But the first one is you have to settle the family first. Maybe easy for the what we call it, the young people, because before married don't have the responsibility for the family. Yeah. And then the second one is the supervisor. Supervisor is your support system. When you have problem, you can share with your supervisor. You can discuss anything, not only about the thesis, but also for the some problems you can share, because supervisor can give you the solutions about your problems. And then the fundings. The funding is important. Is it a scholarship, sponsor, or your own money? Because we have majority, for example, in Indonesia government, they give 3 years for the scholarship, and after 3 years, you have to pay the tuition fee by yourself. And then the last is our social is our friends. From the clue by Dr. Azrina, actually you can practice with your friends. your friend can read your thesis, and then you can discussion with some of the questions in the Viva. I think it's very important because your friend is also give you insight when we said when we need to healing, when we need to share something, when you need to because at the moment you will have a start moment in writing your thesis, but your friend is very helpful in this context. So you have to looking the close friends will help you in terms of the PhD journey. And I'm lucky because in my ecosystem in School of Communication at that time is some of the friend is very help when we need to discuss. For example, they read our research objective, they read our research problem, and also they can give the suggestion for the research gap because some of student is writing this research, no one in the world can write this thesis. It's for example, yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. This is my data collection in the border of Indonesia Malaysia. So how I'm staying here for a month for collect the data. I'm doing a FGD interview and also the observation with the undeveloped society in the Pulau Sebatik Island. This is in the North Kalimantan, and for me it's very valuable experience in the border because how they have what we call it, two identity, and they didn't realize what they are doing, but this is very important and until now it still become the issue in the Indonesia government. They have to IC Indonesia and IC Malaysia, but they can use for the economic purposes. It's the big problem in this area. So I try to portray, to analyze how they constructions their national identity with some of the theoretical and concept of ethnography, and some of the finding is I think is very important because I give the research result to the government, Kementerian Dalam Negeri, because this is the area. Next. Okay, this is the place of the Pulau Sebatik in Malaysia. It's about 10 hours from Jakarta to Pulau Sebatik by flight, transit, and also with the boat to the Pulau Sebatik. Yeah, and I think this is a very important moment in my life. Maybe Dr. Rifani also doing the same research, yeah? It's about Nusantara. Yeah. Okay, next. Yeah. This is copyright by Google. The meme of the PhD candidate and then become PhD survivor. Every step, every moment, it's perjuangan. You'll survive. Yes.
Struggle.
Struggle. Because for me,
my supervisor.
blood and tears is the journey of the
Tears and
PhD.
blood. Kan?
When I'm in Jalan Sungai Dua, I feel so sad because many moments in Jalan Sungai Dua. I remember when frustrated after the discussion with the supervisor, they reject
Kau reject
the
banyak
topic,
Banyak lah,
the proposal, and then I don't know how I have to do after that. Just want to sleep and skip all the all the moment, but we have to do all until finish. But I think all the students can get some of the experience from the alumni senior with some characteristic of your supervisor, because communication is very important. We can argue, but how the way we communicate, how the way we can debate with the polite way, and then with the academic justification, I think your supervisor will give you um, some solution in your journey. For example, I know the character of the Dr. Azwan. I have to see the mood before I supervise.
You see how much
Honestly, I want.
How do you know? How do you know?
I see the office, and then I see the expression. If the face is this is not the good time to discuss.
Body language.
Yeah, the body language, the gesture. We can see this is very important. How we can communicate with someone, how we can discuss with some of the interpersonal communication. Maybe the student of the Dr. Suhaida, you have to know the character of your supervisor. You have to know what is the favorite food, what the Suhaida is like coffee. Maybe you can give a coffee before your discussion. This is the way. Yeah.
Through the food.
Through the food, yeah. And then sometimes you need to what to call it? You see the moment. You see the moment. But the important thing is, if when you discuss it, you give the progress or your thesis. In the start, I have a target. 1 hour, I handle with my thesis everything. I try to writing, and I didn't realize suddenly until 400 and almost 500 pages, and I spread 300 pages. But I told myself 1 hour, 1 day. For example, when I in Indonesia, in 12 o'clock, when the situation is very empty, I'm trying to writing until 1 hour. Okay, I go back to sleep. But I force myself to try to writing 1 hour a day.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Persevere. When Dr. Azwan is cranky.
I remember when Dr. Azwan is give a note, red pen. This is ini bahasa apa? Ini untuk kucing. This is not for human. Nah, how? Yeah. The subject, the predicate, the object when we make the sentence is very important, and I really study when I with the Azwan how to use the good sentences, and then it has to clear. Then you know, oh, okay, this is the good sentence. This is not good, and etc. Next. Okay,
Ah, yang gambar tu.
this is
Best
after
friend.
the FIFA,
Best friend.
the research progress.
That's me right
Yeah,
now.
this is the final year. You're very exhausted. You're very what we call it? Yeah,
No
we can
no
see
motivation.
Yeah, no motivation. Because after the FIFA, you can sleep 2 days. Before FIFA, you know, the feel is you cannot eat, you cannot sleep, and the situation is very horror. And saya sangat takut melihat Dr. Azrina at the time because the question is very challenges. Some of the clue is already Dr. Azrina sampaikan, and we have to confident to answer the question. We have some of the reference or journal we can debate when in FIFA. So the related the previous research in 2021, I'm trying to contextualize my findings with this one, and then blah blah blah. So it's very academic review in the FIFA.
Yeah.
And this is the pictures after the FIFA with Dr. Juliana, Dr. Azrina, and Dr. Azwan. It's very scary moment. So my face is very pucat until I got the keputusan of the FIFA. Next. Okay. I would like to say everything you need will come to you at the perfect time. In all the struggling, survival, you have to remember this moment. It's a beautiful time when you got the scroll. And this is my motivation to rush, to finish, to soon my PhD. And this is the moment I don't know what to say, the feeling I cannot cry, but this is very emotional moment. And one of the moment that I want to say is I'm very religious person when I did my PhD. Because before I met my supervisor, usually I sholat sunnah dulu, meminta
Moodnya bagus.
membuka
Moodnya
hatinya.
bagus.
Sholat hajat dulu, sholat memudahkan. This is first time I say this feeling Seriously, I always sholat duha, sholat hajat before I meet my supervisor. And I'm very religious person.
Always pray. They don't understand. They don't understand solat. Pray.
Oh yeah, pray.
You have to pray.
I pray before I meet my supervisor. Two times.
First time I dengar.
I know.
And alhamdulillah, God willing, the discussion is
You got a solat.
Yeah.
The congregation for all my colleagues.
very good moment.
I am very
And then I got many insight, many input from my supervisor, so I can submit very fast. And I submit the correction after the FIFA is also fast. Okay. Next. Okay. This is the two from Al-Quran that I used when I was a PhD. How the effort is, how to say it?
Saya tak faham.
God will not change your,
Yeah, God will change your
will not change, will not
will not change.
Okay.
God will not change your
Destiny.
destiny. Yeah.
Unless you change it yourself.
Unless you change.
You work hard to change it yourself.
Yes.
Yes,
You
yeah.
have to work hard.
You have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what he did.
God don't change
So let's
your destination
Yes.
until they change yourself.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
That's in the Quran.
Yes. According to the Quran. From Allah and also Allah.
And the next one is God is the best planner. You can plan, but God has got other plans. Yeah.
Or you plan, God laughs. God laughs. Then God laugh at your plan.
You profess God. Apa satu lagi tu?
You plan, human plan.
I know.
And God laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do plan and God do plan and
Yeah.
the God the best plan.
Yeah.
God just laugh at your plan.
I always use this to surah to motivate myself to finish my PhD. Okay, I think it's enough for my sharing. Next we can discuss for the some of the question. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Rizky. I feel like crying because he prayed before he came to see me. Yes, always God first, then supervisor. But the fact that he actually did it before every time we met up, I didn't know that part. And Dr. Rizky is a very calm person. All of my PhD students are calm people. They speak like him, Dr. Isyaka, the Yama, Ellie, Yabu mean, yes, yeah, doctor, Yabu doctor. Poncho also like that. Who else? Okay, let's not mention other people's name. I said let's not mention. So I have come PhD student, which is good because I'm always anxious, anxiety, jumpy, cranky, and everything you can think of. But I treat them very well. Thank you, Dr. Rizky, for many insight that I didn't know. That's what the PhD journey is all about. Okay, let's open for discussion, question, or anything you like to know from all of us. We have Dr. Rivani, who is also a supervisor, examiner, Dr. Shuhaida. Yeah, don't be shy, always aim high. You remember that? Masih kecil-kecil. Don't be shy, always aim high. Let's go get the sky. Yeah. Anything at all. Even later, if you have questions, you can email us. If you see us walking around USM, just say hi. Hi, I went to Cyprus to listen to your talk because I walk very fast. Hi, Rin, you have any question? No. Huh? Oh. Okay. Anything at all that you like to share with us? Okay. Let me now conclude with my my slide. Yeah. This is just for pure entertainment, but it's very meaningful. That's why I chose this slide. Okay. This is you know who is that woman? Macam mana lagu tu?
Titanic.
Yeah, I know. What movie?
Titanic.
I know. What is the song? How does the song goes?
So
My
my dream.
My heart. I'm not a good singer, you know that.
Okay. YouTube here.
Yeah. So okay.
YouTube.
This is what is the word for all this? It's not just to show Okay, you want to check out if you're on Facebook, the frustrating PhD researcher. I follow them. This is where I got it from. So you can empathize, you can feel yourself there. So he said he will return after doing PhD. And then Kate, when she was old, I'm still waiting for him. You get it? It shows it can take forever to do your PhD. Forever doesn't mean till the phrase that people like to use now is till Jannah, till heaven. Forever can be, Kiko did 4 years. Some people 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. So persevere. Next, please. A degree doesn't mean you are smart. Common sense does. Go back to my earlier slide. It's not about the show of intelligence and the show of everything. Because you may have a PhD for 100 years, but if you don't have common sense, hasta la vista, babe. Who says that?
Schwarzenegger.
Yes. Next, please. What is success? It is being able to go to bed each night with your soul at peace. Do not plagiarize. Do not take other people's work without quoting. You won't be able to go to bed at peace unless you are that species who couldn't be bothered. But please don't be the couldn't be bothered species. You have no, because I don't know about all of you. Some people can just go to bed and snore away. Some people will toss turn, but this is what I do. Next, please. I'm going to bed early tonight. Me watching everyone's IG stories in bed till 2 a.m. So I go to bed. I always tell Dr. Azrina, I want to sleep at 10 tonight. I want to sleep at 10 because I will sleep at 2. And then when I wake up, I feel like a zombie. But you go to bed, you take photo. I just want to check a bit. I just want to check high risk Instagram. I don't go to people's Instagram because my life is about me. I go to things like this. So I can sleep because my soul is at peace. I'm done. I'm done, literally done. Next, please. Okay, this is my life goal now. To grow this plant with that huge leaf, I want to have it in my home. My home is themed, just a little bird nest, a little apartment. It's called rainforest. I already have 3 big plants in the house, so nobody can come to my house because you don't have anywhere to sit. But this is my life goal now, because, next please. Dr. Azrina gifted me with this on my birthday, pulut kuning, yellow glutinous rice. Don't you know, don't care. That's my life tagline. When I officially retire in February, it's don't you know, don't you care. I'm retired. Although now it's on another level with Embrace, it's a different story. But I generally don't you know, don't you care. It's your monkey, it's your circus. I'm not part of your circus. Next. Okay, that's me and Dr. Azrina. We're always out for coffee, talking about. Now we talk about artists because I'm officially retired. I can check on artists, celebrities, IG, Facebook, and all. Because before this, I don't know anybody. Because music, all this entertainment is not my deal. But now, yes, I can gossip. Next, please. So, all the best to all of you. Remember, this journey is not you alone. You and what Dr. Rizky said, the people in your life, don't forget them. Your family, even if you don't have a partner, children, your parents, and anybody else. I am so blessed because at that point when I came back to Malaysia to finish my PhD, I've got a huge circle of supporters. But they're all now gone. It's okay. No lost love. And next, please. Okay. This is what we're aiming
You
for.
finish, still have it, okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, hello, miss. No, doctor, please. You know how does that sound? It's your hard work. It's yours. Nobody take. People can take your money, can take your whatever. People cannot take your education. People cannot take your memory, and people cannot take what is rightfully yours. The rest people can take away from you. So it's worth it. Let me tell you, it's worth it. The pain, the journey, as you've heard what Dr. Rizky said, I almost cried because he sounded so sad that I tortured him. But look at him now. He's the vice rector of his university. Associate professor, it has always been my dream to sit together at a panel with my ex-student, and they are already associate professor. That's the joy of being a supervisor, examiner, and someone who help out other people. That's why we are here today to help out all of you. Not that you don't know, but motivation is very important. Sometimes you don't get from people around you, you get from strangers. I always get my motivation from strangers. That's the best because I like talking to strangers. Yeah, I can talk to myself for hours, things that you don't understand, but also like strangers. With that, ya, sudah habis ya Mas? Habis kan? Okay. Thank you so much, all of you. And if you have questions, we
Like
can.
Marvel movie kan?
You can email us. Again, thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Azrina, for being my internal examiner for my almost 70% of my PhD student. Associate Professor Dr. Rizky Prananda. You have no idea how proud a supervisor is when she can say in one breath, Associate Professor Dr. Rizky Prananda. It means a lot. Thank you. To honor, Allah will award you with whatever, but Associate Professor Dr. Rivani, I would like you on behalf of Sempris to give a token of appreciation to both of them. When do we do that? Okay.
Betul risky kan?
Yeah, I would first invite Associate Professor Dr. Azrina. Nothing much, just a gift of token. Since I just went for a holiday in Langkawi, so yeah, nice chocolate from Malaysia. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Azrina.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sempris.
Okay, senyum dulu, pegang.
Very nice.
Okay, very nice.
1, 2, 3.
That's my undergraduate student.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Now I would like to welcome Dr. Rizky Prananda. I give you the USM color,
Purple heart.
purple rain,
Purple rain. Commonly known as purple.
purple republic. Okay? Okay, smile for the camera.
Mesti gempak dia.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. And Dr. Rivani, thank you so much. Yeah, for Sempris, for accepting me and for having all of you. Although I'm part of Sempris, as you say.
Giving this to you.
No, because
Just pretend I'm giving this to you.
no need to pretend. I want to give it to you because you are here today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's smile.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Hanif and your name? Eugene, for helping out with this. Thank you, Dr. Shoida.
Muhtadi.
Muqtadi,
Yeah.
student musical communication from Sempris, from everywhere. My undergraduate student, Pak Jamil, the professor from University Mercu Buana. I appreciate all of you being here, and Ajmal, who is videoing video.
You.
Yeah, so that I can share with more people. Thank you so much all. I wish you all the best. The next project will be, I cannot announce now. It's Dr. Shaida. Also on academic,
Academic
issues.
issues.
Huh?
We will have issues then.
Yeah, we have issues then. With that, again, I thank all of you. I thank Sempri staff and all for helping out. And please have more coffee, tea, and biscuit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a lovely PhD Master's Degree, all of you.